Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So recently my friends and I have really gotten into this extremely popular game called Among Us. And for those who don't know, Among Us is a game that is available on Steam for PC or as a mobile app game. And the gameplay is pretty simple. You are one of 4 to 10 players on a ship, and one of the players is a murderer, or as the game states, an imposter. The rest of the players are crewmates, and you have to work with your fellow crewmates to figure out who the imposter is before they end up killing you and your team. Or the crew can win if they finish all of their tasks listed before the imposter kills them all. And what I love about the whole thing is it's a very simplistic game. It was made by a small indie game company and the whole plot is pretty straightforward, but it's just really nice to see a small game company have a project like this blow up. So here I am creating my Among Us persona, and this is a trend circulating on Instagram, and I really wanted to create my own. My go-to color in Among Us is pink. That is, if my friend Marshy doesn't get it first. But anyway, I'm sure that doesn't come as a surprise to a lot of you because you all know pink is my favorite color. And it's funny because each color has their kind of own stereotype given by fans in the game. The biggest and most common one being red is always the imposter. This is the biggest one probably because promotional art for the game tends to show red as being the imposter. Also, red is the one that pops up before the game starts telling you to hush. And I don't know, I guess players apparently feel that's pretty sus. But basically, poor Red could literally be traveling with Green and they could both witness White vent. And Green would probably still think Red is the imposter. And just to clarify, venting is basically a move that only an imposter could do, so. Other stereotypes include black often being seen as the detective, cyan is often the most chill, brown is often the first to die, although that's also an attribute to pink too sometimes, so Blue is sometimes as suspicious as red. Orange often calls the most meetings. Purple can be an unpredictable player. White is typically silent. And yellow, green, and lime are the ones to apparently group up first. I feel maybe these stereotypes would be pretty true if I played more games with strangers, but playing with strangers isn't always my thing. Instead, I'm part of a small Discord group where we all game together, so we've definitely been playing Among Us a lot, and while we tend to stick with the same colors sometimes, we do definitely change it up. For pink, they're seen as a newbie and a girl player, which obviously is true for me, but I'm not always pink. Sometimes I'm yellow, sometimes cyan, sometimes purple, and sometimes I just rotate colors because I figure it could help in tripping other players up. I don't know if it for sure does though. Probably not. Sometimes a cool tactic though is if someone is lime green, go with dark green, because oftentimes when a crewmate accuses green, they need to specify, and sometimes they can't. It's happened before in a few rounds that me and my friends have played, so it sometimes can work in your favor. Anyway, my persona here feels pretty cool. I wanted to do short hair because long hair just seemed unrealistic. I feel she'd have a hard time stuffing it all in her suit and helmet. So short hair seemed more practical. And I'm also pretty happy with how her suit turned out. And overall, I'm really excited to get started on this. And so I went ahead and printed it out so that I can then color it in with my Ahuhu brush markers, most of which are pink. So I'm starting with the skin, and that was pretty easy because the only skin that's showing is on her face. So, and then I figure since I'm pink, I might as well give her pink lips. Cute. And I'm tempted to make her eyes pink. Would that be too much pink? I mean, granted, there's no pink on her right now, but yeah, I'm thinking of the end. Because like a part of me almost wants to do yellow for her eyes. Yeah, let's do yellow. And this is how I pretty much make all my decisions when it comes to colors. I mean, kind of. Not really, but for the most part, kind of. Okay. Feel like I should color my jelly bean version first. Kind of like to act like a reference, even though the reference is pretty simplistic. I should know by now. One thing I didn't do was put a backpack on my persona. I don't know. I just didn't really think about putting anything on the backside. I'm gonna add some shading, just that it's not super boring to look at. And then the crown. And that's pretty much it to the original character. So using this color scheme, I'm going to somehow translate it into this one on my persona. And basically, I've got a lot going on here. So I pretty much just picked out all my pinks that I have. And somehow I'm going to make them all work. I don't know how, but hopefully it just doesn't come out looking too ridiculous, but I'm sure it will. Pink is a pretty obnoxious color regardless, so, which I kind of think fits me in the end. Should add it to the list of stereotypes for pink. And there are more stereotypes that I've read for pink, and I kind of hate to say it, but I kind of agree with them. But yeah, I've read one that said pink is the one to die first, which I kind of feel is true. I kind of feel like I make myself an easy target, and I don't mean to. I'm still working my way around understanding everything. Like map familiarity and task familiarity and just making sure to be faster. Because I often get killed when I'm doing a task, especially either in electrical because it's so like hidden when you go further towards the back. It's so easy to kill somebody in there. Or I'm always getting killed at the reactor trying to punch in the code because I keep forgetting it all the time. And it takes me like a whole 15 minutes, it feels like, to actually get it and finish it. And there have been times where I've been successful, but there are other times when I am not so successful. So a lot of the time it's just me trying to be more aware of my surroundings and trying not to be the first one killed. Another stereotype said that Pink's a nice person most of the time, which I agree with. I definitely feel like I am. Maybe my teammates who I accuse would think differently, but it is what it is. And then I've also read that Pink either does or doesn't do tasks, which is kind of true, but I feel like it more so depends on if the person playing is a newbie or not. Ooh, I don't think I like this color. It's too fleshy. Okay, so it was a fruit pink, which I thought would be just a really light pink, but no. I think I'm gonna go with this pastel rose. I think it might, yeah. That looks a bit better, not too fleshy looking. But yeah, in the beginning, when I started playing the game, I didn't really know what I was doing, so I didn't quite do tasks. And then my friends were like, hey, please do your tasks so we can win. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. It's also said that Pink suspects everyone, which is pretty much true. I mean, if I'm running around heading from one task to the next and somebody's following me, I get nervous and I start thinking like they're waiting for me to start doing a task so that they can kill me. So sometimes I'll just keep running and wait for them to like leave me alone and then I go do a task. And sometimes I'm not too aware of my surroundings. Apparently, one of my friends found me running around, and I might have been going from one task to the next, I'm not sure, but there was a dead body next to me. I don't know. I didn't see it. I swear. And so he immediately thought I was the imposter. I mean, which is absolutely understandable. So he reported the body and he's like, I think it's Layla because she was literally just standing next to the person dead and did not report. And I'm like, first of all, I didn't even know there was anybody dead next to me and I am not the imposter. It might be you. And I was pretty convinced he was just trying to like pin it on me. It turned out neither of us were the imposter. And so we kept playing and I actually caught my friend New in the act of killing someone. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's New. And I was so ecstatic to have witnessed it. And I was like thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I have it. He's totally going down. And I didn't expect him to report the body right before me, like right before I could report the body, and he pinned the entire thing on me, and I was like, what is happening right now? And he was successful. He was able to convince our entire team that I was the murderer. And it didn't matter that I was just like, guys, I literally witnessed with my own eyes him straight up murdering Haru. They were like, I don't know, Layla, we're voting you out. And I was ejected. And I have not recovered emotionally from that sort of trauma. This game is brutal. I've also read that when pink is imposter, they're really good at it. And I wish I could say yes or no, but honestly, I don't know. Despite playing as many games as I have never been chosen to be the imposter, which is kind of cool, but also really sucks because it just makes it that much more likely for me to be the imposter next time. So my team is now super suspicious of me, and it just really freaking sucks. I'm not too sure if I'm feeling this color right now that I chose for, like, this reddish pink just doesn't seem to mesh well with the pink that I chose for these, I don't know, textured parts on her bodysuit. Just kind of feels a bit too reddish in color. And I was debating on whether to include this crown on my actual persona because her entire getup just looks so much more serious in comparison to her jelly bean look. But I decided to stay with it because I'm a fan of the crown. I really like it. And then I'm going to leave these white areas as white. I'm going to use the BG4 mint blue to add some shading in some areas. And now I'm just using a darker bluish green color because I feel like the mint blue was a little too light. So I'm just trying to get some like real definition in here. And for the helmet style, I kind of tried to follow the art that you see when the game starts and it tells you to be quiet. Whereas the jelly bean helmets are more jelly beanish. Like the visor. And then I went ahead and I got a darker orange just so that I could get her pupils to stand out a bit more. I don't feel like her eyes are defined enough. And yeah, this definitely helps. There we go. And then lastly is her hair color. I'm gonna go with a more neutral tone. Thought about making it pink as well, but I feel like that would have been real overkill of the pink color. So I think brown is a much better look for her, especially since I have brown hair naturally, so if anything it just fits me more. And I'm doing some honey highlights and it really fits well. And then lastly, I'm going to fill out my stat bars. Feel like my deception would probably be around here. Not quite halfway, but not too low. Because I feel like I won't be able to test my real deception skills until I get to be imposter. And who knows when that'll be. My task pace has gotten better. I'm going to say it's maybe slightly above average. And then my map familiarity has gotten better, but I am using my map a lot still. I'm going to put it kind of dead center. And then I'm going to fill in. I'm thinking I'm going to start with a dark pink. Let me turn page. There we go. Start with the dark pink and kind of just flick up and go into a sort of lighter pink. I think it creates a pretty cool transition. And then I kind of want to go into an even lighter pink. I'm not sure if this would be too light. I think it works for what I'm wanting to accomplish. There we go. I think that's cool. And then same thing with task pace and then deception as well. And there we go. And I'm kind of tempted to like do a drop shadow for my name in pink. Let's see. I'm trying not to go too much into the black ink, otherwise it'll smear. I think the idea is there, but the execution isn't quite what I hoped. And now it's one of those things where I can't just drop it and leave, so I might as well continue. Not too bad. Okay, it works, I guess. It's a little sloppy, but I'm afraid of fixing it too much because I don't want to make it even sloppier. Okay, I'm gonna leave it. I do want to do a bit of a drop shadow on the box though, and I think that would look good. So just blue right here, and then blue underneath here. See, that's what I didn't want to See, that's what I didn't want to happen. It's because the ink got into the nib. I should have cleaned the nib off. Okay, it's fine. I mean, it's not, but it's fine. But there. I mean, I kind of like that. If it weren't for this streakiness, if it weren't for this smear, this would actually look really nice. And then I'm just going to do a drop shadow for the characters. And that's that. So this is Layla, my persona for Among Us, and I absolutely love her. And even though I was unsure about this reddish pink, I feel like it came together regardless. So I'm really satisfied with this. But let me know in the comments what you think. And if you're interested in seeing more of these done, definitely let me know. I may make more. And yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, maybe comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.